the boys are somewhat back in town. How's it going, Shane?
What's up, Jeff? How's it going?
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, sir. Yeah, look a little different this week, but we still here. We're gonna keep it rolling, man. What's your song of the week, Shane?
Song of the week, a little bit on the nose. It is "Feels Like Summer" by Childish Gambino.
It does feel like summer.
If you've been outside,
good God, it's hot in Nashville.
Yeah,
feels like 100 and some odd degrees outside. That is rough. Speaking of summer anthems, cameraman, my song of the week is Nipsey Hussle, "Keys to the City." If you've been a Nipsey Hussle fan, that's one of the first all-around joints he had going circulating. So that's my joint right there. So yeah. Yeah. Just me and Shane this week. Let's go make it work. Shout out to cameraman. Let's get going, man.
Full Sport Press.
Yeah. No layup line, no warm-ups, no nothing. We just walking right into the stadium and get into the game. Let's do it. When the beat on, then it's on. When the right jerseys on the road, cause how we feel where we roam is our home. Leaving these other podcasts null and void. The show can't miss something like Tom Shepard and corduroys. Full Sport Press, you know them boys. Jay run the point, lock for three, and me, I crash the boards. Weezy told you that it's paid for.
Full Sport Press.
Greetings and salutations. I would like to welcome everyone back, and some of you all for the first time, to the Full Sport Press Podcast, the premier sports podcast from the consummate sports fan. This is your one-stop shop for all sports-related news and topics. I am your host, Big Jeff. Shout out to Shane.
And you got Shane from Philly.
Shane from Philly. There it is, man. Coach Locke, J-Hove, and Weezy are out on assignment this week. Shout out to the guys. You know what that means, cameraman? I get to sit in the big boy chair this week. So everything is everything. This is episode 520, and we are predicting the winners and losers of the NFL offseason quarterback battles. FSP style.
FSP style.
Always FSP style. We still got it, Karen. Don't you worry about it. All right, let's get going, man. Best of the week, Shane. What you got?
Best of the week. I've got kind of two. One's a quick one. We've got the Euros for soccer starting today as Germany thrashed Scotland. But in the next coming month or so, you'll see a lot of really awesome videos of the supporters going to other countries and going out and rocking their style and doing all that. But also, it's just great football. It's great soccer. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see England lose again probably, but then also Germany win, or you'll see some surprise team, because some team is always surprising you every year, and it'll be really, really fun to watch them. And the other one is kind of a quick one as well. United States cricket.
Okay.
The sport, not the insect.
Not the cell phone company.
Not the cell phone company either. Got to the second round in this year's World Cricket Cup.
I feel like I saw that on SportsCenter.
It is unbelievable that people even know that cricket exists in America.
Yeah.
And we actually beat Pakistan earlier this year as well.
That's an accomplishment.
And, it's a great thing, but I wanted to shout out Amazon Prime real quick for a documentary that they do on the Australian cricket team. If you're bored and you like sports,
that's it.
Watch it. It is so awesome and so much fun to watch, and just like as you're watching the actual documentary, you start learning about the game itself, and it's really, really cool to see that. And if it's on TV, give it a watch.
That makes sense. I'm check that out. Cameraman, that may be the very first time that cricket has been mentioned on FSP. Possibly the only time. But I am going to check out that documentary, though. Definitely going to check that out. My best of the week, cameraman, is I predicted this on FSP that Saudi Arabia is going to shake up the boxing world, and the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund has initiated conversations to unite all the boxing federations and promotions.
Wow.
I predicted this. His Excellency, I'm not going to mispronounce that gentleman's name, is a huge boxing fan, and he has been outspoken in how he feels boxing is broken, and has put on monster cards over the past 12 to 18 months, and he's going to continue doing that not this weekend, but in August with the Terrence Crawford fight. So yeah, shout out to that, man. Say what you want to say about Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to get into that, but the fact that boxing is making strides to be under one roof, I really appreciate that as a boxing fan.
Yeah, hopefully the fury is down and things just get wilder and wilder.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. What's your worst of the week, Shay?
Worst of the week. Kind of another odd one, another little wild one that I saw today. Horny Nashville cops. Cop this year. Cops that were lumped in a couple other years as well. But another Nashville cop got in trouble for being on an OnlyFans video.
Dog.
They gotta stop.
Dog. Listen, man, you're risking your career.
Yeah.
You ought to risk your life every time you put the badge on to go do your job. I understand that. But risking your career to be horny, I don't know about that one, bro. Like, you're just taking a lot of chances for no reason. But shout out to, I heard her OnlyFans is popping, though.
Hey,
Chill out, bro. Chill out.
Hopefully he gets a little bit of a cut, so he, not everything's
Hopefully
lost.
it wasn't in vain. Oh, shoot. My worst of the week, you already spoke to this, Shane, but Deontay Wilder, it's one thing to lose. I get it. It happens. You fall on your shield. But those training videos they have released of him before this fight, yeah, man, practicing spin moves, practicing your basketball spin moves in the boxing ring, it's time to hang it up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Great fighter, accomplished a lot, adapting to the sport late in boxing terms, in his 20s, adapting to it. But yeah, man, now it's over. It's time. It's time to let it go. And if you're doing spin moves in the boxing ring, that just speaks to more that it's time to let it go. And one of my favorites are done. But yeah, you gotta let that roll, bro. Ah, man, shout out to Deontay. Anywho, go ahead.
Well, no free ads, but the combat sport world pretty well.
Yeah.
And removing the Joe Rogan experience, because I don't feel like that's like a fighting podcast.
Yeah.
Are there any other good podcasts for MMA, for UFC, for boxing that he could maybe step into as a role and kind of fill that void? Because I feel like he's very well known and he seems very well spoken, but he also knows about the practices that he is actually doing. So he could be setting himself up for a decent second career afterwards.
He can definitely be a personality. I don't know if a podcast world that he can join that would fit his personality, maybe his own. Mm-hmm. But I do think with PBC going to Premier Boxing Champions, going to Amazon, like you spoke about, and DAZN needing all the help they can get, he could go there and really cash out.
Okay.
They can cash out. Because, boxing, so what?
Yeah.
Make sure you check us out on iTunes, Facebook, Instagram, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music to catch up on the full archive of past episodes of FSP. Just simply search Full Sport Press Podcast. Shane, do you have a yellow box of Cheerios recipient for our listeners, sir?
You know I do.
Let's do it. Who you got?
Today's yellow box goes to Major League Eating and Nathan's Hot Dog. They can either split one or we'll get them those little travel size boxes and just toss them out like they do at the Nathan's contest.
So, yeah, because a lot happened with this, man.
A lot.
Shout out to Joey Chestnut, 16-time winner of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. He's been banned from the event this year by the Glizzy Guardians, Major League Eating, MLE. They announced the ban because Joey Chestnut has apparently signed a deal with Impossible Foods.
Impossible, the vegan vegetarian brand.
Chestnut has become a 4th of July staple, winning 16 of the last 17 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, including each cameraman of the last 8. However,
shout out Matt Stoney.
Shout out to Matt Stoney breaking the cycle. Chestnut also holds the all-time record for 76 hot dogs eaten. MLE said, no, we take our glizzy seriously here at MLE, and we cannot deal with Impossible Foods in partnering with our champion. They imposed a ban on Chestnut. Now, you say, well, Chestnut can also receive a yellow box of Cheerios as well because he knew better, right?
Yeah.
Not so much. He thought that this was because Impossible Foods technically it's not a hot dog that he could do it.
But is it a sandwich?
But is it a sandwich? That's the key wording, and that's what MLE is standing on. But anyway, they want to impose that ban. Chestnut said, you know what? I'm still going to get my bag. Netflix, the ever expanding sports world of Netflix, decided, you know what? Kobayashi versus Chestnut, September. Netflix, be there. And that's what MLE and the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest are missing out on, that big rematch. So because of that and that alone, Shane, will you be delivering that yellow box of Cheerios to MLE?
100%. They really dropped the bun on this one. You lose your biggest personality and the only person that's won in damn near 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, you got to almost not cater to him, but cater to your audience. He single-handedly brought the contest back.
Yeah.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When it was raining and whatever else. And he was like, no, we're doing this. And he's coming out, charging. He gets the people going. Like, he is the reason why Kobayashi started it, because he, I think, really early on was, the guy.
Yep.
But with his battles with Chestnut, and then after Kobayashi left, Joey Chestnut is pretty much the reason why people still, we'll say in the peripheral, because, people that are in that world, they probably know it. But, for the layperson, for myself, why should I know what this is? It's because of Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
I know it because of him. And the only thing that I can think that this actually kind of reminds me of is basically the Live/PGA split. Phil Mickelson left and went to Live Golf.
Yep.
The PGA then banned him.
Yep.
And then they recanted on that, and now Phil is back during the majors, I believe. Only the majors. I don't think he's in any of the PGA things, but there's obviously some conversations around it. But then also, Live and PGA now are kind of married together. They are they invested together. So, fingers crossed, between now and about a little less than a month, that they can get something going between the two of them. But I would really love to see Jaws, That's his name, Joey Jaws Chestnut.
Joey Jaws. Shout out to Joey Jaws, man. The Glizzy Guardians. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get that out to him. Shout out to you, Shane. You ready for the first half?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Full Sport Press.
This your boy FSP Weezy. Join us each and every Monday on all streaming platforms. And don't forget, everything is paid for.
The revolution will be podcasted. First half, the hottest sports news of the past week, like we do each and every week here at FSP. Before we get started, I am your host, Big Jeff, and I'm joined this week by
Shane from Philly.
That's the coldest one ever. Shane, Shane, where can they find you on social media?
All right, guys. I actually know what they are this time.
Here we go.
Twitter, @NashVillain1890.
Okay.
Instagram, Dungan1890. If you find me on Facebook, it's not me.
There we go. And I'm Jay Easley84 across all social media platforms. All right, man, let's get the first half started. So, Shane, Justin Jefferson, is it going anywhere? He signed his 4-year, $140 million contract extension with the Vikings to keep him in Minnesota for years to come. Now the market is being reset. So 3 other all-world receivers are decided, you know what? Our contracts are coming to an end. It's time for us to get paid as well. Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers, shout out to J-Hove and Coach Locke, Amari Cooper of the Browns, and C.D. Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys have decided to hold out on OTAs this summer. Is this going to work out for those guys, Shane? What do you think?
I was thinking about this because I never know quite if a holdout actually works. Mm-hmm. It works for some, doesn't work out for others. Saquon signed his 1-year deal last year for $10 million after he started the holdout for the franchise tags. Then you've got people like Le'Veon Bell years and years ago, and that did not pan out well for him. So whenever you talk about signing the deal versus holding out for a larger deal, it's always a little bit tricky to kind of figure out who's in the right, or rather, what the best move is. Yeah. I think for 2 of these, it's a bit of an interesting move. Yeah. And one, I think it actually will pan out for. And that one is Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk has been very clear that he wants a new deal, but also he wants to get paid on a team that has a lot of superstars. It's very, very tough to pay a lot of people on a very good team, keeping in mind that your quarterback's going to have to get paid in about a year and a half, 2 years, whenever his deal comes up, or whenever he's eligible for his next deal. And we can all pretty much agree that Purdy's going to pretty much reset the market again. That was set today by Trevor Lawrence. So I think I think that when you have the abundance of weapons that you've got on the Niners, Ayuk doesn't make himself expendable, but he's the one that you can get the most haul for. Yeah. And by doing that, you can maybe get 2 first-round picks, a first-round pick and a second or third, just enough high picks that you can actually get back, like a decent thing that would kind of make losing that top caliber player, palatable, or at least, kind of not worth it, because I don't think losing a good player like that's ever worth it. But it's just, I think that'll be what happens with this. And I think Ayuk kind of holds that power.
So you think the 49ers trade Ayuk?
I definitely think they trade Ayuk, and I think they trade him during training camp.
I'm not mad at that. So for the 3 guys in question, to me, CeeDee Lamb is the odd man out, because Micah Parsons has to get paid. Say what you will, Dak has to be paid, because you're not going to find another quarterback out there. You're not going to be able to draft another quarterback because your team was too good, and you got to pay Dak. You're not going to find Dak for cheaper, right? So CD, unfortunately, becomes the expendable portion of it. I believe the Niners will find a way to pay Brandon Ayuk. Somehow they find a way to extend Christian McCaffrey's contract. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I believe they'll find a way to extend Brandon Ayuk. Amari Cooper, though, is the one that's not necessarily strange to me. He's a little longer in the tooth than the other 2 gentlemen that are holding out here. And he's coming off of a solid season, and hopefully for him, the nasty man has found his old groove and can return to his old ways as a quarterback, because that will help him immensely. So to me, Brandon Ayuk, Amari Cooper are going to be fine. CeeDee Lamb becomes the odd man out in that situation. I think he gets moved before the season. Somebody jumps up, someone like New England, someone along those lines who need a weapon, jump in and make a move for CeeDee Lamb.
The reason why I thought that Amari Cooper would be one of those, or kind of close to that as well, good point that he's a little bit older, but the way that I kind of view Amari Cooper is he's more so a Brandon Cooks type player, where it doesn't matter what team he's on, he will deliver. I mean, he was on a very, very bad Raiders team, and he did really well. Yeah. He was on a very bad Browns team, a very inconsistent Browns team, I guess we'll say, and he always consistently, would get you anywhere between 40 to 75 yards. Yeah. Sometimes he'll break off a 230-yard game, whatever that one is last year. So I think that he's got some leverage in the fact that if the Browns actually need to either jump ship, or they need to maybe get some draft capital coming up after losing all the draft capital that they shipped out to the Texans, maybe they can then send him off to a team that's, again, going back to what you said, maybe New England. Maybe they are looking good and they need just like that one player to get them over the hump. Maybe we were talking about it earlier. Washington, maybe Washington needs a third wide receiver, or somebody goes down. We never want to think about injuries, but somebody goes down. He is that type of plug and play guy who will get you 1,000 yards or thereabouts almost consistently, almost every year, bar none.
Whatever was left of Joe Flacco, he found it and used it. So shout out to Amari Cooper. I like what you're saying right there, man. Let's keep it in football. So we spoke about the 49ers a moment ago. Christian McCaffrey, fresh off his contract extension, was now named the cover athlete for Madden 25. The first 49ers player to ever receive that honor. Not Steve Young, not Terrell Owens, not Joe Montana. Christian McCaffrey. Shane, do you game? Do you game any?
Not really. I don't really do. I don't have any online things. Okay. What my downfall is, I don't like actually playing the game. Okay. Give me the GM duties. Like, I love, like in FIFA, I love doing the scouting and doing all that stuff. Playing the actual game, it's no problem. That's all you.
No deal.
I will hand the controller gladly to anybody else.
But you want to build a roster, right?
Yeah, I'll build the roster, and I'll give me the salary cap and all that stuff. But also, I feel like I've heard Jay say this. You guys are PS5.
Yes.
I'm Xbox.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. I've been in PlayStation since PlayStation 1. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I can't do it. Cameraman, how you feel? C-Mac, they got it right on this one? No. Okay, we're going to move on. Christian McCaffrey, fresh off of the closest thing you're going to find in an MVP season for a running back in 2020. This day and age in football, this is not an MVP award, but something similar to be the 25th athlete, or the 25th version of Madden, to have that honor. It's a great thing for him, man. Shout out to Chris McCaffrey, come off a great season, going into another year. The Madden curse hopefully does not rear his ugly head anymore.
Shout out Peyton Hillis.
Shout out to Peyton Hillis. Shout out to Michael Vick. Shout out to, oh my God. We're not going to go in and shout out to Eddie George. Shout out to the Madden curse. It has not popped up here recently in injuries, more so decline in production. So if I'm a 49er fan, I'm a little worried about that. But we'll see. I'll be there opening night. What about you, cameraman? College football is here.
I am very happy you just brought that up.
Okay.
this year is the one year to be on the Madden the cover because nobody is going to give a single damn about Madden when you can play 11 on 11 mascots versus mascots.
Yeah, it's time to get real.
Yeah.
Can't lie. I'm there. I'm with you on that one. Since we brought up college, let's talk about it. University of Connecticut men's basketball head coach Dan Hurley, formerly Danny Hurley, said he is going to remain at the school of UConn after reports of him flirting with the Los Angeles Lakers for the same head coaching position. The Lakers offered Coach Hurley 6-year, $70 million contract. Now, this all led to a war of words or somewhat like that between Shams and Woj, the protege and the teacher, having issues on who was getting the nod here for the coach, and then also had the Lakers looking left out when Hurley decided he's going to stay with Connecticut. Now, Shane, I kick it to you here first. Should the Lakers be embarrassed on reaching out to a coach like Hurley in a situation of his being a back-to-back champion and coming back with nothing?
The saying goes, what's the worst that they can say? No.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Lakers should be embarrassed. I think it's more so just a very sticky situation when you already have your player coach in LeBron, who, again, my guy LeBron. It is damn near impossible to have a coach come in, gain the respect of that locker room, gain the trust of LeBron to actually know what they're doing. You know, Spoelstra was a very, very good case, but then also he had Ty Lue, he had some other coaches that, had to come in and really prove themselves, and they've gone on to be really good coaches, but it's really a no-win scenario because you're coming off of 2 national championships back-to-back. You are thought of as the top basketball coach in college basketball, or at least, thereabouts, because Coach K, gone. Bill Self, whatever he's doing, it's not legal. Roy Williams, not there anymore. Boeheim, not there anymore. Or maybe his son's there. Who knows? Like, his son's been there for 9 years, it seems like. So he is the preeminent, college football or college basketball coach as of right now.
Yeah.
Jay Wright had that spot for a little bit, I feel like. He brought that Villanova team to the glory of the promised land year after year, and it was in the Final Fours, and it was in the tournament for years and years and years. And look at the reverence that people think about these coaches with.
Yeah.
If you stay with your college, and you stay good enough, and you stay relevant enough, you are a god.
Yeah.
If you go into, now you as in Danny Hurley, if you go into La La Land and you have a mediocre season with a LeBron James that's 65 years old, you draft his son, there's no winning for you. All you can do is hurt your legacy, hurt your career, and hurt your, I don't want to say feelings, but like your mental side, because you're going in saying like, okay, I'm a winner, I'm a proven winner. Oh my God, I just lost like 4 games in a row. I've lost 11 of 12. Like, what is going wrong? Yeah. So I don't know if the Lakers should really feel that embarrassed. Okay. Their front office is just kind of awful and very messy at this point, I feel like. So to me, what they need to do is they need to pretty much figure out, or at least realize, like, okay, this is what we have currently. This is the present day scenario for our coaching staff. Yeah. And then figure out what they want to do. Do they want to go J.J. Redick? Do they want to go, a good mind? He was a good player. Or do you just want to go tried and true and you want to get somebody that has been a long-term assistant coach, or long-term head coach, and just try to figure it out that way? But the long story long, no, I don't think they should be embarrassed. They went after who they wanted to. They didn't get them. Move on. You can't keep dwelling about who you didn't get. Okay.
I like what you're saying there. The overarching problem with it, though, to me, is you offer him 6 years, $70 million, and you look at the coaches that are Monty Williams, your Ty Lue's, your Pops, your Spoles, those coaches that are long tenured, they're getting. He's going to be, if he came to the Lakers right now, he'd be the 10th highest paid coach. That's not going to make you move. Mm-hmm. That's not making me leave Connecticut where, like you said, I don't have to pay for a meal anymore. Or I'm good. I'm a back-to-back champion. My legacy, as long as I don't do anything illegal, Patino-ish, nothing like that, I'm fine. I don't have to worry. I can lose every game next year. I still have back-to-back chips. Mm-hmm. So I'm solidified here. I'm an East Coast guy. That offer won't make me move to LA. And that's why I feel like there is a hint of embarrassment, because the Lakers carry themselves as a preeminent franchise, which they should, because up until Boston closes out as of recording, they probably will be closed out as the time you hear this. The NBA championship, there's a tie for the most championships in the NBA, the Lakers and the Celtics, right? So the Lakers carry themselves as a franchise who should be respected. We're in LA. We have all the glitz and glamour. It's Hollywood. The Clippers mooch off of us and use our stadium, right? So those things factor in, pardon me, but at the end of the day, you have to have something to show for it. And to most, going into that dumpster fire of a roster with, like you said, a 65-year-old LeBron, AD, say what you want about him, as great as he played, he's going to be a year older. And those injuries that he has, prayerfully they don't show up, but that's happening. And your third best player is Austin Reeves. And as good as they thought he was, he didn't take the step forward consistently enough. So if I'm a coach, I'm looking at that roster with limited assets to make a move. It's like, I'm staying in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like the Lakers should feel a hint of embarrassment, just because you should be able to look in the mirror and realize we have a lot more to worry about than going after this coach. We should probably blow this up and start from scratch.
I see that. I like that.
Because they are, not to be a long story, they are one of the few franchises in the league that are a family franchise.
Yeah.
Right? So their money, they spend a lot more money than they probably would in business, because they don't have the outside capital that a Ballmer has in the Clippers, where he doesn't really, the Clippers thing is just a vanity thing for him. He's just a fan of the sport. So yeah, I could overpay Kawhi and Paul George and bring in James Harden and what's left of Westbrook and all these guys and just put on a show for my fans. But really with the Lakers, it's like these moves have to be calculated. You know what I mean? We got to be able to make sure this works. Not saying they're broke or anything, but they have to make smart moves. So hints of embarrassment. They're going to bring in JJ Redick. There goes that podcast of LeBron and JJ. I'm pretty sure that's a what's the word I'm looking for, cameraman? Like I can't think of it, but it's cool. But that's something you probably don't want your player and your coach having a podcast together. That's probably something you don't want to do. So
each timeout's going to become a podcast.
Yeah, conflict of interest. That's what it was. I'm pretty sure my coach and my best player having a podcast together, conflict of interest. So
a little bit.
Yeah. So with that being said, shout out to the Lakers. Hope they figure it out. You guys ready for the second half? I'm sorry, you guys ready for halftime? Let's do it. Make sure you check us out on iTunes, Facebook, Instagram, Google Play, Spotify, Beyond Pod, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Music. Hey, if you got Amazon Prime,
Hell yes, there too.
make sure you do all that, all right? And when these ads start showing, ads are free if you got Amazon Prime or Amazon Music. Make sure you check that out. All right, to get you on the full archive of past episodes of FSP, just simply search Full Sport Press Podcast. Halftime. It's now time for pocket watching with FSP. In the words of the great Lester Freeman, follow the money, Jimmy. All right. Clutch. You know what I say, cameraman. Clutch rules the world. They rule the world. Clutch and the United Talent Agency, UTA, have acquired Roof. What does that stand for, Shane? Go ahead.
That says we're the representatives of outstanding footballers.
I knew you knew that. So what that means is Roof, they have about 150 clients across Europe's big 5 leagues in football, English Premier League, Spanish La Liga, Italian Series, and French League One, and the German League. Will continue to operate. Now, Roof will continue to operate under their brand name with this leadership team that will become UTA shareholders. Now, I talk the business talk. Their co-founder and managing director, Bjorn Beiserman, will also be named head of Clutch Global Football, working with Clutch founder and co-head of UTA Sports, Rich Paul, and UTA COO and co-head of UTA Sports, Andrew Thau. They run the sports agency representation business and will oversee Roof. Roof will also integrate closely with Paul's Clutch Sports Group, which already represents a number of top names in the NBA, WNBA, NFL, and MLB. All sports with global aspirations of their own. What this means is basically 3 sport agency giants joined together to build a conglomerate to put a chokehold, for lack of a better word, on all major sports across the world.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Shane?
I love it. I think, one of the things that I think and I'll speak about soccer specifically, One of the things that I think is going to really usher in this new wave and new popularity of soccer in America has been FIFA. In the last 10, 15 years, FIFA has exploded. People are talking about FIFA. They're playing FIFA online and doing all that. And you're starting to understand, like, oh, these teams are in Europe. There are teams in, MLS. But then now we've got Messi here in Miami. The Nashville team's about to sign a new coach. Hopefully, fingers crossed, BJ Callahan. But when you align yourself with Rich Paul, who
you got it.
With all respect to Rich Paul, he's dating Adele.
Shout out to Adele.
Who's British.
Shout out to Adele.
And now they have a major soccer team or department. So, shout out to her as well. No, but I really like this move. And I think that, aligning yourself with a sport in soccer, but also with Clutch, that's a very, very well-respected guy in Rich Paul, but also, like, it's a very respected agency. It's only going to look good. It's only going to look better and better and better and get these players that are going to start being, 14, 15, 16, 17, and they're going to say, oh, well, I'm with Clutch.
Yes, it.
And the weight that comes with that is going to be immense and very just like, they can go around and say, I'm a Clutch player, I'm a Clutch whatever. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, I want that. Yeah. And then I want that. Yeah. And then somebody else is like, I want that. And it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And hopefully throughout the different leagues and all that kind of stuff, that's just going to create more relationships and inroads to players from MLS going to Europe.
There you go.
And then from Europe to the MLS, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because for whatever it is, a middling player can go from a second tier division in the German football league, come to America and become a star. Yes. They can become a starter. They can be the highest paid DP, which in soccer terms,
Yeah, please.
Stay with me.
Yeah.
It's a designated player. And that's, in MLS speak, that's basically a player that's signed that they can pay over the allotted salary cap limits. So it's, they can bring those players in and really by having this alignment with Clutch and Rich Paul, it's just going to be great and it's just going to do better things because, they say bigger is not always better. In this, I think, it definitely has to be better.
I love it, man. I love it. You said it all, man. It's perfect. So that is halftime pocket watching with FSP. You ready for the second half, Shane?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sport Press.
J-Ho. Check us out each and every Monday. The Revolution will be podcasted. Revolution will be podcasted.
Second half. QB battle for winners and losers of first day starters. I am your host, Jeff.
And you got Shane from Philly filling in.
There we go, man. Shout out to Shane from Philly. Cameraman, you ask most NFL fans and the talking heads, they will say that the quarterback is the most important position in sports. Well, heading into the 2024 season, some NFL franchises have a fight on their hands on who will lead their team in the battle to start the regular season. But no worries. The good guys over here at FSP are here to solve their problem for 6 of those teams in need. We're going to figure out who's going to be the winner going into week 1 of the QB battle. Let's get started. First team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in the red corner, we have Russell Wilson. Wilson had 26 touchdowns with 8 picks and 3,070 yards last year. In the blue corner, we have my guy, Justin Fields, 16 passing TDs, 9 picks, 2,500 yards passing. Not going to talk about the rushing. He brings that dynamic to the league here. Shane, who's going to be the day 1 starter in Pittsburgh and why?
My answers may have a bit of a pattern, but I truly believe this. To me, it's Russell Wilson, and it's a fairly simple explanation. Russell Wilson has that pedigree behind him. He is for the last 2 years, last 3 years, whatever it is, he hasn't been to the Seahawks standard that we're used to. But also he changed teams. He had a lot of different cast members that came and gone and changed and everything else. He brings that veteran personality, that steadiness that you kind of want to have. Like you said, it's the most important position in sports. So you can't be wavering. You can't have a confidence issue. You have to be that guy that is doing these commercials that's saying, Steelers, let's ride. Or
please God, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that though.
So I want the corny commercials. I want all that. Give me Russell Wilson, and I think he's day 1 starter. And I think, barring any injuries, I think he plays the entire year.
Season. I got Russell Wilson as well. It just makes sense. You acquired Russell Wilson for a little bit of nothing, $1 million, I believe. Denver's still on the hook for that contract, so you at least get to see what's left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And you have enough cap space to where now what's left of Justin Fields, you get to see that for another year of camp as well. And if Russell Wilson doesn't pan out, to prevent you from having to pay him a big contract next year, you still got Fields. So to me, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I get to see the best of this. And Russell Wilson gets to use this as a springboard for him to receive another big contract. And Justin Fields gets to use this as a way to save his career.
Mm-hmm.
But to start 2024, Russell Wilson will be the starter in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. All
right, let's move on. You know, I'm a big wrestling fan, cameraman, so this is the three-way dance in Denver. We got the rookie, Bo Nix, versus the legend, Jarek Stidham, versus the infamous Zach Wilson. We know Bo Nix is a rookie. Stidham had 2 touchdowns last year, and Zach Wilson was the prodigal son of New York. Shane, who is the day one starter in Denver?
Give me Zach Wilson.
Oh, Jesus.
He's back in the motherland. He's close to Utah.
Yeah.
He's back. So I think he's got some family out there, or at least they're closer than New York. In New York, also he was thrust into being the number 2 overall pick in New York City, which is not an easy place to play. Well, sorry, in New Jersey, where it is an easy place to play, as long as your team's okay. Yeah. And I think with this, Stidham, good number 3. To me, not a viable quarterback product because you've seen what he can do already. Not great. Zach Wilson, I think, just give him one more chance. He's now got an actual quarterback coach,
true, in
Sean Payton, that's done really, really great things with a lot worse. But also he's gotten people elevated to their best. I don't think Drew Brees is the Drew Brees that we think of now without having Sean Payton as his coach. I think he really helped him with his schemes and everything else like that. Yeah. So I think that it's really going to help Zach Wilson out and kind of shorten that learning curve. Also, he got Sauce's recommendation today saying that he still thinks he can be a world-class quarterback. My thing with Bo Nix is, I think he's already older than one of them. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm with you. No, I'm agreeing with you on that, yeah.
So he's an old man learning his first NFL scheme, but then also, give the rookie some time. He's not a number 1 overall pick. Like Caleb Williams is going to play. He's going to start, and, he's already QB1. But if you're not, whatever he was like a 15th or 12th overall pick, or whatever it is, you don't have time, but you have some time to kind of get him into and learn the NFL system and learn how to take a hit from, any, defensive back or defensive end. So I think giving him some time on the bench to kind of season up a little bit and then putting him in when, Zach Wilson ultimately starts disappointing, there's no real downside to that.
If I'm Denver, I like where you're going with that. If I'm Denver and Bo Nix at 25 can't beat out Stidham or Zach Wilson, I'm a little concerned.
Oh, very much.
Simply because I understand if it's Caleb Williams, you're coming in at 22, 23 years old. Bo is a man. He's a grown man at this point, and he's developed in college. He got that extra couple of years of college, and I would assume in this QB room, he would be able to assert himself as the alpha dog. Mm-hmm. I would assume. Now, in theory, you're correct. Zach Wilson should lead this team week 1 just simply because he started last year. Give my rookie QB a little bit of time to get himself together. But I'm going to go day 1 is Bo Nix.
Okay.
Bo Nix. Whew. I said it. All right, let's move on. The Las Vegas Raiders in the red corner. We have Aiden O'Connell. 12 touchdowns, 7 picks, 2,200 yards passing versus the mustache and the jorts of Gardner Minshew, 15 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 3,300 yards. Shane, who's the day 1 starter in Vegas?
Gardner Minshew. It's the easiest choice out of anything that you could ask today. Okay. Gardner Minshew almost took the Colts to the playoffs. He is one of the greatest fill-in quarterbacks to play the game in recent history, at least. Mm-hmm. He is not by any means a star. He is not going to be that person that people think of later on as, oh, Gardner Minshew, he rocked. He's a personality, and he's really, really fun to root for. But in terms of Aiden O'Connell versus Gardner Minshew, it's like, do you want a bologna sandwich or do you want a ham sandwich? Like, none of them is really going to move the needle one way or the other, but they both are okay. So give me the ham sandwich in Gardner Minshew, and you know, let's just really piss off DeAndre.
I'm going with Gardner Minshew as well, just because it's the lesser of two evils, right? Aiden O'Connell showed flashes, but I have a veteran team for the most part, and I have a defense that's good enough to win right now. And that division isn't going to get any easier with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert there. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm going to roll out Gardner Minshew week 1 and just see what happens and just hope for the best. All right, let's move on to Minnesota. In the red corner, J.J. McCarthy. In the blue corner versus Sam Darnold. Shout out to Weezy, that's his guy. J.J. McCarthy, of course, is the rookie. Sam Darnold's coming off backing up Purdy in 49er land. Shane, who's the day one starter in Minnesota?
To me, this is the most difficult one on the of the list that we've got for today, because I don't really know what you have in J.J. McCarthy. You have a winner. He won at Michigan, and he had a very good system under Harbaugh, who was an NFL coach before. He is again. So I think he understands that type of coaching that he's going to get. Kevin O'Connell, the coach for the Vikings, he is a very, very good coach, and I think he does really well with his quarterbacks. So I think there definitely is some promise with McCarthy. That being said, Sam Darnold, been in the league for a lot of years. Again, another New Jersey Jet that was kind of cast away, number 3 overall pick. Bounced around a couple places. I believe it was in Carolina, and he was in San Fran last year, like you said. Yeah. I don't know if he's done anything to really necessitate the thinking that he can be an actual starter in the league. I don't know if he has shown that he has the mental fortitude to actually be able to say, hey, not to quote Russell Wilson again, but let's ride. Yeah. He just doesn't have, to me, that veteran presence that I believe truly really counts for a lot. So, this is the one thing. So give me J.J. McCarthy.
I like it. This is the biggest toss-up on the list to me, because at the end of the day, I feel like personally, front office, head coach, everyone just going to go into Justin Jefferson's locker, meet him at home, just say, hey, who do you want throwing you the ball this year? That's the main decision. Like, who do you want to throw you the ball? Because at the end of the day, that's who we need to keep happy, right? Both of these guys have their limitations. Sam Darnold gets that wax on, wax off type of thing of working with the 49ers front office last year. So you get to erase everything prior to that and just hope that they were able to get what's left of him and fine tune it. So if you get that on a prove it deal, you win if you're Minnesota. But then also JJ McCarthy is a proven leader in college and has coming off of a national championship run when there wasn't much depending on him with that offense, but people say he does have an arm. So to me, it's a toss-up. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with the one I don't know and go with J.J. McCarthy, just simply because I get more out of it, right? But anyway, that's the tough one. All right, let's move on to the New England Patriots, the land of Bobby Kraft. All right, in the red corner, we have Drake May, the rookie. And in the blue corner, we have Jacoby Brissett, the wily vet, threw 3 touchdowns, no picks, and 224 yards last year for the Commanders. Shane, who gets the day one start?
Going back to my pattern, I'm giving it to Jacoby Brissett. People have been saying, or I've read a lot of things where they're not sold on Drake May. He needs to focus on his footwork, do this, do that, whatever it is. Also, brand new coach in New England, so we'll see how that goes. Jacoby Brissett has shown time and time again that he is, again, kind of like Gardner Minshew. He is one of those preeminent backup quarterbacks. Yeah. If if you need to play him for 6 games in a row, he will win 3 of them, 2 of them.
Yeah. Toss up on the 4th. He'll win you 3 and toss up on the 4th. Yeah.
Which is what you want out of a backup quarterback. Like, you can't ask them, hey, you need to win all 6 of these games. Yeah. It's more so, hey, we're bleeding, let's stop the bleeding a little bit. And then they outperform, what we expect them to do. Yeah. And I think Jacoby Brissett is a very good quarterback. I think he has a lot of good knowledge, and he does the right things at the right times. And he's not forcing things like he sometimes had in the past. So give me him. Let Drake May, season on the bench a little bit. Get under their new coach is Gerard Mayo, I believe. Mayo. Yeah. Let him kind of understand too, like how to be an NFL head coach. He hasn't been one before. Give him some time. I think he's going to be a star.
Yeah.
And then in a year, in 2 years, whatever it is, because you've got Drake May for 5 years, 4 years plus the option.
Yeah.
You know, they're real, and he's one of the younger quarterbacks too, I believe.
Yes.
So he actually does have time as well. So you can let him sit on the bench 2 years, give him the Jordan Love treatment, and then by the time he's ready to start and ready to play, you know, he actually knows what he's doing. He's not that, you know, wide-eyed puppy look, and he's like, oh my God, the world's caving in, and I'm seeing ghosts. You know, he's actually able to see, you know, the plays being are made out there, and then can pick the right one. So I think, you know, for this one, give me Brissett.
I'm with you 1,000%. This is the one time, even though he was a very high pick, number 3 overall, Jacoby can go out there and keep you competitive right now while you work those quirks out of Drake May's game, and then allow him to lead that team into this year and going into next year when you build and get the weapons around him. So to me, Jacoby Brissett is the choice, with Drake May learning how to be a pro behind a pro's pro in Jacoby Brissett. All right, last one. The Washington Commanders, the Commandos I like to call them myself, Jaden Daniels, rookie, versus Marcus Mariota, the Titan legend, Marcus Mariota, the Eagle legend, Marcus Mariota.
Eagle legend.
Shane, who you got?
Well, being from Philly and being an Eagles fan, yeah. You know, I really just want all the good things to happen in the world for Washington, for the Washington football team, or whatever their name ends up going back to. So in this instance, I'm going to give it to my boy Marcus Mariota. If you can hear the laughter, yes, that is a complete joke. It's got to be, you know, the number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels. I didn't really watch a lot of him in college. I didn't watch a lot of LSU, but he won the Heisman. Yeah. People speak really highly of him. He's 6'4". So, you know, he's kind of got that Cam Newton body style where he is able to absorb the hits more than, you know, Kyler Murray, 5'2", you know, just like tic-tac running around. Yeah. He can actually absorb the hits, take them when your line's not that great. They have some work to do on that roster. Get them some help on the wideouts as well. I know you know, they've got some talent out there, but
that's scary too.
Constantly want to update that, and also get, you know, a good tight end as well. Because to me, I love a good tight end on a team. Pause, you know, everything. But like, to me, that's a really good outlet, because like they're going to be running 5 yards, going out, and then they're right there. So if you have a good tight end on your team, for a young quarterback at least, that's a good, you know, outlet safety valve. Yeah. Good way for them to, you know, handle and deal with the pressure. So the real answer is Jaden Daniels. I'm rooting for him to do really well, just not that well against a green team.
Yeah, J-Hove, he's not here this week. He feels that Marcus Mariota can still be a starter in the NFL. I'm not really sure.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where he's going with that one. He's also a Deshaun Kaiser guy, so you know there's a little, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay, but if I'm starting Marcus Mariota, I'm worried. If I'm watched it, if Jaden Daniels, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier. If Jaden Daniels can't beat out Marcus Mariota, I'm worried. I'm very worried. And, you know, injuries and everything aside, Jaden Daniels has to be the starter. Marcus Mariota comes in, something catastrophic happens, okay. But day one, I got to roll with my new ownership, my new day in Washington. My new quarterback has to lead us lead us on the field. All right, cameraman. And that is our QB Battle Royal. So you teams that were in need, we got you covered. Don't even worry about it. You can send us a check later on. You know what I'm saying? We got you covered, all right? Please don't forget to tweet us throughout the week at Full Sport Press. Don't forget to comment and give us a thumbs up on the YouTube page and on the iTunes page. Please rate and subscribe. But Shane, more importantly, don't forget to tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Shane from Philly, thanks for tuning in, bro. Thanks for coming in, bro.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
All right, man. And cameraman, as you always know, the camera's always on. And lastly, never forget, Tupac cares if nobody else cares. And we are out. That's Jay's thing. That's my thing. We out here.
Thank you for listening to the Full Sport Press podcast. To catch up on previous episodes, please check out the YouTube page and wherever you find your favorite podcast. Don't forget, tell a friend to tell a friend.
The revolution will be podcasted.